violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Harper Woods man now facing charges in the death of his mother to go along with many other charges at the moment. 23-year-old Jonathan Welch accused of stabbing 42-year-old Flossie Bray. This happened July.
Dang. And Buddy is looking very rough. This super gremlin, Jonathan Welch, he deleted his mom after she bailed him out after he was accused of assaulting his baby moms with a metal pole. Now, this guy right here is insane, okay? Or at least that's what the community is trying to deem him as. They're saying he's mentally ill. They're saying that he didn't know what he was doing and all this other stuff. When I started looking into this story in the comment section on Twitter, whatever information you can find on this, where there's feedback from the readers, you're gonna see the community making excuses for this behavior, saying it's, oh well, he's mentally ill, that's not in third. And deleting your mom was actually something that we considered a glider thing. All right, we really, at least growing up, from my perspective, that was always something that you would assume gliders would do, okay? If you heard a news report, you would immediately assume it was like a little white kid who deleted his mom because she took his PlayStation 3 or something, So now we're starting to really see the truth, and this story, like others, are just prime examples of how it's really not the gliders who are the ones, participating in the bulk of the matriarchal slayings, if you will.
July 10th, during what turned out to be a barricaded situation at her home, police say Bray escaped with a knife in her back looking for help. That's when police showed up. The standoff began, but earlier this week she died from her wounds. Welch already facing charges for killing his girlfriend and stepfather on that same day, due back in court August 31st.
Dang.
A judge is calling it the court's worst nightmare. A man accused of killing his girlfriend during a standoff in Harper Woods was already out on bond for allegedly beating that same woman.
That's right. Jonathan Welch paid $10,000 to get out of jail and is now charged with killing that woman just days later. Sean Lay is live tonight. Sean, this judge in the case is very upset about this.
He is. We'll hear from that judge as well. Also, the victim's family absolutely devastated by what happened. Look, we just got out of court. Jonathan Welch, you just mentioned him, appeared in court. The detective telling the judge that Welch took his bond as freedom to what he says, finishing the job by killing his girlfriend. That's a direct quote from that detective. Tonight we're asking tough questions about why Welch was out on bond in the first place. Zelaya Frazier, a beautiful young mom so full of life.
Wow, so it looks like his girl, his baby mom, she actually was shaped very nicely. And why she was allowing this man to bust all inside her and reproduce with her is, it's very questionable. I keep telling these sisters, you got to do your research on these guys. You got to do background checks on their first and last name, maybe even their social security or email if you can get it. But you need to understand what you're dealing with if you decide to seriously date somebody. But I really don't think they're taking the precautions, and that's why you start to see these, domestic violence situations explode, especially after the pandemonium. But there a lot of people are gonna say, oh well, you can't tell, they be acting nice, they be acting super nice, and then they switch up. I'm sure that's the case a lot of times, but can't there be an argument made that, hey, maybe he always exemplified those signs of aggression and violence, especially or specifically toward women. I just think that female intuition is lacking in the community.
Life and full of love for her baby son. Frazier stabbed to death inside this home in Harper Woods, allegedly at the hands of her boyfriend during a violent rampage that began last Sunday night.
And of course, because he's a pookie, he was able to clap the cheeks of one of the more attractive sisters in the community. She never would have been caught dead, no pun intended, with an educated lame. So it's crazy, man.
Stated that someone there is holding her hostage.
Cell phone video capturing the moment a 23-year-old man prosecutors identify as Jonathan Welch surrendered to police after that rampage that left Frazier dead, Welch's stepfather dead, Welch's mother critically injured. The home was set on fire. Shots were fired at police. Welch in court just moments ago charged with those crimes.
Good afternoon, and sir, please state your name for the record.
Jonathan Welch.
Jonathan Welch was on a tether.
And he is not remorseful at all. Look at the way he said his name. Like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm present.
Good afternoon, and sir, please state your name for the record.
Jonathan Welch.
Jonathan Welch was on a tether at the time of the rampage, out on bond, after he was charged with a horrific domestic violence attack on Frazier June 2nd. At that time, prosecutors allege Welch strangled Frazier with an extension cord, poured gasoline on her, tortured her with a red-hot spatula.
What the heck? Poured gasoline on her, wrapped the extension cord around her neck. Sisters, what are y'all doing with these dudes?
And sexually assaulting her. Instead of being locked up with no bond, Magistrate Dawn White gave Welch 10% of a $100,000 bond.
Wow, so this is the magistrate that gave him the bond. Oh. I mean, it's a relative, it's expensive, yeah. $100,000, 10% of that, $10K. But relatively low for the charges. And this is another woman who should be empathetic to the woman who was abused, but maybe she didn't feel like they were in solidarity because this is a light-skinned sister, and then the sister who was attacked was a chocolate sister. Now, I'm sure that wasn't a huge factor in her making her decisions. I'm just, she's probably just super woke. That's really what it is. But it just goes to show that there really isn't any solidarity between these females. They talk about all this feminism stuff, and then, you get into positions of power like this woman here, and you have a woman who was brutally taken advantage of by the baby daddy, and you give him a bond that he was able to make. It's despicable.
This past Friday, we're told Welch's mother got a bail bond to get her son out of jail. 48 hours later, Frazier was murdered. Today, an emergency bond hearing for Welch that 36th District Court Judge Kenneth King says was tragically too late.
Far too little, far too late. This is the court's worst nightmare.
All right, back here live. Welch now in court just a few moments ago on these new charges. There are 20 new charges, including those 2 homicides here. He pled not guilty. The judge in this case in Harper Woods said no bond at all. Kimberly, Devin, we continue to ask questions of the magistrate here, trying to reach her to find out why bond was given in the first place. We'll continue to work.
And why did Momma bond him out just to get deleted herself?
Work to get answers for you. Back to you.
It's just awful. Sean, before you go, though, Welch was ordered to stay away from his girlfriend. Why were they together at his mother's home this past Sunday in the first place?
Now, that is a good question. Why was she there? How did she get there? Did he kidnap her? Did Ma Dukes call her up? Sheesh, man. This is not good at all.
we've been able to confirm that Welch was tethered, house arrest, to his mom's home right there in Harper Woods. The detective just told me they may never get that answer why the girlfriend was there. Now, sources are telling me that Welch's girlfriend and his mother had a very close relationship.
Okay, so maybe they tried to talk some sense into him, tried to come together, and he spazzed because the women in his life were trying to tell him what to do.
Whether or not she knew he was there, however, remains unclear.
All right, Sean, thanks.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
The third victim of a tragic family attack in Harper Woods has died tonight, and the suspect is facing a slew of charges.
The incident unfolded inside a home on Kenosha earlier this month, just days after the suspect was released on bond. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell spoke with the victim's loved ones.
A man was arraigned here at District Court in Harper Woods on the third murder he is accused of committing while out on bond. The loved ones of one of his victims are speaking out, hoping her story saves your life or the life of someone you know.
Zalea wanted the best for everybody. She was a true sweetheart. Zalea loved her son. Like, she loved him so much. That was her world.
Right on time.
In this video, Quazon Frazier sees love as his younger sister.
So it sounds like they were singing Fantasia's When I See You, and there was actually a remix made by these drill rappers in Jacksonville, Florida, where they were, you know, making a parody of the song, talking about deleting rival gang members and dead ops who lived, you know, 5-10 minutes away from their neighborhood. So, you know, obviously there is no direct correlation to that, but it's just interesting how you can have a song, a great song like that, by the way, be turned into something so evil and despicable. These super rapping gremlins are on demon time.
Sister Zalea sings karaoke with him while holding her now 1-year-old son, Sammy.
When I see you. That's it. I gotta get one of the last videos I got with my sister. We did like a karaoke night.
One of 7 siblings, Zalea knew how to make others feel important. She was on the homecoming court every year at Warren's Lincoln High. Her mom, Trina Harris, says the 22-year-old was studying, inspired by her brother who fought cancer and her sister with cerebral palsy.
That's why she wanted to become a nurse.
Now this man, 23-year-old Jonathan Welch, is accused of murdering her, his stepdad, and his mom at a home on Kenosha in Harper Woods on July 10th. He appeared in court Wednesday for a...
And we understand what type of super gremlins are coming out of Kenosha after watching the light-skinned dude, his trial. I forgot, Darius, what is his name again? Or Darren, y'all remind me, but I mean, Buddy was straight out of his mind. So they're not coming out too good from Kenosha.
Arraignment on the 3rd murder charge after his mom died in the hospital. It happened just 2 days after he got out on bond, accused in June of assault, criminal sexual conduct, home invasion, and torture. The victim, Zalea.
That he held her hostage for hours. He beat her. And when he got tired, he rested and beat her some more. What he did, torture. He poured gasoline on her. He wanted to kill her.
My sister was fully naked when she ran out the house and ran to a nearby neighbor house to get help. How do you let somebody out that did that to somebody? How do you let them out?
And she was ready for her new beginning because she was talking about the future a lot.
They are speaking out, hoping judges take a more in-depth look at details of domestic violence cases before offering a low bond. They also hope to inspire domestic violence victims to leave sooner.
I want women across the world to know that abuse is not love.
Abuse is not love.
Daryl Brooks, I said Darren. Daryl Brooks, yeah, that's his name. But I mean, he's right. Abuse is not love. It looks like she was hypnotized by the D. Maybe. A lot of these chicks, they do gravitate toward the toxic guys, especially in the community. It's a part of the marketing. It's part of the culture. And this is what's going down. And people just kind of graze over it. As a matter of fact, this actually happened 2022. And I missed it. I know a lot of you guys might have missed it as well. Y'all might have emailed it to me, but my email's flooded. So I definitely wanted to bring some type of acknowledgement to this story because it's just a wild one, man. And this is what happened in 2022. Imagine what's going to happen in 2023. These super gremlins are on demon time.
This time, Jonathan Welch has no bond. He is scheduled back in court for a preliminary exam on August 31st. In Harper Woods, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
I'm heartbroken. As Jonathan Welch remains behind bars for allegedly killing his ex-girlfriend, Zalea Frazier, and his stepfather, Robert Bray Jr. Bray's daughter says she has received even more devastating news about Welch's mom.
I learned that she passed away Saturday.
Flossie Nicole Bray was allegedly stabbed during a horrifying incident that took place inside this Harper Woods home last week, where prosecutors say Welch barricaded himself inside his mom's home, shot at police, set the house on fire, and then allegedly killed Frazier and Bray Jr. Robin Thomas says the family was hoping Flossie would survive.
She'd been on life support since it all happened, and we all was hoping that she pulled through.
The heartbreaking news of Flossie's passing comes as Thomas is still trying to process that her father tragically became a victim of violence.
I'm mixed with all different kind of emotions because my father, he was a good man and he didn't deserve to go down the way he did.
Bray served in the Air Force, worked as an LPN, and was recovering from an operation as he battled lung cancer.
4th of July, we FaceTime, and that was after his surgery, and he was looking so good, and he was just moving around, and he was well, and you know, he was happy.
Welch was a defendant in a crime allegedly targeting his ex-girlfriend, where he received several charges, including torture.
And you could just see it in his eyes, man. This dude, straight evil.
And criminal sexual conduct, 3rd degree. Welch was arraigned on those charges and bond was set at $100,000, 10% cash or surety with GPS tether.
And if you look at the tattoo on his chest, I believe it what's visible is God can judge me. I assume that, you know, under that tank top, it says only God can judge me. So that's his mind state on what he's done in his life. So, like I said, it doesn't seem like he's remorseful at all.
The defendant made bond and was released from the Wayne County Jail. And 2 days later, this horrifying incident began in Harper Woods. Thomas believes the court made a major mistake by allowing a bond for Welch.
The things he did to that young lady is horrifying, and he shouldn't have been let out on the street.
Now Thomas is hoping the community can help her through this tragedy and give her father the funeral he deserves.
I really taken a toll on me because right now I'm not working and I don't have the funds to try to get him a proper funeral. And just trying to get documentation for him. I can't get in the house.
To learn how you can donate, go to fox2detroit.com.
He was the kind of man, he didn't argue, he didn't fight. He was just a sweet, kind-hearted man.
In Southfield, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
The suspect, 23-year-old Jonathan Welch, was originally in jail facing multiple charges for allegedly sexually assaulting his girlfriend back in early June. And he was in jail from June 12th up until last Friday, July 8th, when he was released on that $100,000 bond and was only allowed to post 10% of that $10,000.
This is the court's worst nightmare, worst possible scenario that could happen, in that a witness has been killed.
It was just 2 days after being released from jail on a $100,000 bond that 23-year-old Jonathan Welch went on a deadly rampage in Harper Woods at his mother's home on Kenosha Street. He barricaded himself inside his mother's home for 7 hours, shooting at police and lighting the home on fire. Police say he killed his 70-year-old stepfather, Robert Bray Jr., and his 22-year-old girlfriend, Zelaya Frazier, then stabbing his mother in the back. His 1-year-old son left unharmed. This all happened while he was...
His 1-year-old son witnessed all of that. What type of individual is that child going to grow up to be, man? I mean, how do you come back from this? The only thing is repressing this memory as far down as possible, you know, in the hopes that he doesn't repeat the same cycle.
Was on an electronic tether and was ordered not to have contact with his girlfriend after a June 2nd incident for allegedly strangling his girlfriend with an extension cord, pouring gasoline on her, and burning her with a spatula. While the $100,000 bond was set by Magistrate Judge Dawn White, Welch was able to pay just $10,000 or 10% of that $100,000 bond to get out of jail.
At this point, based upon the egregious allegations that are pending, as well as the possible new charges and the contact violation, I'm asking the court to violate Mr. Welch's bond and remand him to the custody of the Wayne County Jail.
Welch is now facing several charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder and 4 counts of assault with intent to murder. Now, Welch's next court date is set for July 20th for a probable cause hearing. We'll bring you the very latest once that takes place. Reporting in Harper Woods this morning, I'm Peter Maxwell, 7 Action News.
A violent incident that rocked a Harper Woods neighborhood and destroyed a family more than a week ago just keeps getting worse. 23-year-old Jonathan Welch was let out on bond, accused of torturing his girlfriend. Police say he used that bond as freedom to take her life and the lives of others. Sean Lay is live where it happened in Harper Woods with reaction after a third person has died in connection with all of this. Sean.
And Kimberly, we're talking about an awful incident here that happened on July 10th. We were here as it all was unfolding. We continue to discover new information day after day about this horrible case. The family's home here remains a sad crime scene. Neighbors here tell us they watched Jonathan Welch lower his little boy, baby boy, out the window and go back inside the home. That's where police say he went on a horrible stabbing spree, and now we've learned there are no survivors.
But I never would have thought that this would have occurred.
1 week ago, this shocking scene played out across the street from Jeff Wolf's Harper Woods home. Video showing 23-year-old Jonathan Welch surrendering to...
And my man is sagging even without underwear on. These super sagging gremlins are on demon time.
Police after prosecutors say Welch killed his longtime girlfriend Zelaya Frazier, his stepfather Robert Bray, setting his mother's home on fire and shooting at police. Also, Welch's own mother was stabbed in her back during the attack. Police now confirming tonight that mother, Flossie Nicole Bray, has died from her injuries.
It's just a tragedy. Really, that's all that can really be said about it. I think everybody in the neighborhood was pulling for Flossie to make it and hoping that that would be at least one salvageable element of this situation, so it's very tragic.
All this taking place after Welch was arrested and charged in June with torturing and sexually assaulting Frazier. But a 36th District Court magistrate gave Welch a $10,000 bond. Welch's mother bond.
And that's the bail reform agenda working in plain sight.
Her son out. Hours later, police say Welch attacked her, Frazier, and his stepdad.
Everybody's just shocked about it and dismayed that this all could have been prevented.
Back here live, Jonathan Welch, now a Harper Woods judge setting bond for him. No bond is being held tonight. He has a hearing tomorrow. We'll have it covered for you. We understand his charges will now be amended to include his own mother's death. We're live in Harper Woods tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4. Back to you.
Unbelievable. Okay, Sean, thank you.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.